there.
Hey there.
Hey there.
Hey, oh, you have your round glasses tonight.
Yeah, no, yes.
The blue.
My blue ones.
The blue.
I'm such a glasses whore. So anyway, hey there, welcome to Motorcycles and Misfits, coming to you from the Recycle Garage in not so sunny Santa Cruz, but it's still quite lovely. Hello, Liza.
Hello, mate.
Hello, bloke.
Ancha.
You're a caution, ain't ya? Anyway, Liza, darling, sweetie. So I did the introduction for you. Who's in the studio tonight? Who?
Well, of course, running the board, it's everyone's favorite stump, Stumpy John.
What's up? Heidi ho, everybody.
Oh, and you're first on the agenda tonight, so we're going to get to you. Going around the room, it's we don't really have a good nickname yet.
I call myself What the Cat Dragged In.
What the cat dragged in? It's Neal.
Hey,
you know
everybody.
what? I'm gonna give you a name right now, and I'm gonna
Banana suit Neal?
No,
I like banana peel Neal.
Banana peel Neal.
Full confession, this is a recycled name from somebody in my past, but I think it's fitting here. Neal, what's the spiel?
What's the spiel? Oi.
It's Neal. And coming around the room, of course, everybody's favorite manly man. It's Naked Jim.
Oh, hey. I was like, who are you talking about?
He is. You are such a player, Jim.
Oh, my.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I just enjoy the view here all the time.
I'm just happy to be here. Hey. What?
And of course, we cannot forget the manly man of all gingers. It's Bagel.
Yes, coming to you from my manly shop.
Yeah.
You do have a very manly beard. You and John both have the manly
Oh, thank
beards.
you.
Neal,
I whacked mine off.
it's okay. It's
Bagel,
a bit metrosexual, but these guys,
Bagel,
manly.
You're such a
Wife
testosterone
likes it.
factory, darling.
What can I say?
Yes. Speaking of manly things, John, do you have a pink scooter update?
I do. It's still pink. Today we for some reason the front wheel was not moving at all. So we pulled the caliper off and fought my way through the caliper with Emma's help and Liza's help, and it's back together.
I want to say I was using my old techniques, which are not as thorough as Emma's, and I watched like a hawk when Emma stepped in to help you get these stuck pistons out. Emma, can you describe that? Because I know that it's not the best thing, but it did the job, and that's what we needed.
Yeah, I mean it's a little bit naughty, and the thing is, I'm always very reluctant when you have to resort to that kind of technique, putting it on the air, because I don't want people to use this as their first technique.
No.
The easiest way to get out stuck pistons, and I will say this quite loudly and clearly, is use the actual brake system on the bike. Just take the pads out, don't take the hydraulic lines off, take the lid off the master cylinder, fill it up, and pump the pistons out using the front brake lever. It's the easiest thing in the world. Very powerful.
Yeah, the method I usually use is take it off and then use the air compressor and create a little mini cannon in your hand.
You put try out with that, kid.
Yeah, you could.
But we stuck a handle of a brush in there so that there was a stop to prevent it from coming out.
But anyway, all these things had failed.
Yeah.
So what I instructed John to do, I wanted John to clean the area completely so we knew what we were dealing with. And cut a long story short, I mean, I grabbed the lip of one of the pistons.
I know that hurt my lip a lot, too.
Yes, it really did.
I whelped a little bit.
And then I twisted it. No, I grabbed it with a vice grip and then got an adjustable wrench on the vice grip and actually kind of twisted the piston out backwards and forwards, pulling out as we went. And
looked like a charm.
Yeah, pulled them both out.
Yeah.
Tiniest amount of corrosion.
Well, and I think the real trick there is that you use the vice grip to grab it, but then you used the adjustable wrench on the vice grip to turn it.
To twist
and
it.
that was something I'm like, oh, it's that extra little trick.
So did you just like clean and lube everything, basically? No new seals or anything like that?
No. One of the tricks with an aluminium alloy is that when it corrodes, when it forms an oxide, it swells. And brake calipers are very, very vulnerable because they're kind of front and center. They're on the front wheel. So, they're always kind of facing where you want to go, and they always get a lot of crud in them. And as the aluminium alloy swells, it grips the piston and it can't move back. So basically the method, as what I showed John, is you carefully take the seals out. And 9 times out of 10, you can use the seals again if you're very, very careful. And just clean off the seals and make sure they're nice and compliant. They've got no tears in them. And then just diligently clean out the grooves. You can use bent screwdriver. One of my favorite tools is a wheel spoke. And you bend it through 90 degrees, and then you can really get in there and clean out all the crud out of the grooves, clean all the corrosion off. Lots of new brake fluid as a lubricant, and then reassemble everything. And generally, they work like $1 million.
Yep.
Yeah, so it was always fun to watch Emma and learn those extra little tricks. Like I think I've figured out some of the tricks that I've used, and then I watch her. I was like, ooh. Oh, and I wanted to give a quick shout out to a YouTube channel. Oh, whose is that? Mine? Hey, it is mine. Sorry, my last podcast started playing. I mentioned a couple weeks ago the Jason Momoa show.
Yeah,
John, you watched it? You liked it?
Oh yeah.
So if you haven't checked that out. But we were watching in the garage today a YouTuber that I've been watching that I find really inspiring. And it may seem like it's not related to what we do, but I'll share. His name is Matt Armstrong, Matt with 1 T. And he's a guy similar to us who just learned to wrench on his own in his driveway and then has worked his way up. He buys supercars, crash supercars.
Yeah, I've watched a number of his videos.
Yeah, and dismantles them and learns and makes mistakes and figures things out and resources cheaper parts when he does the research and finds out. I was explaining to Emma, he was working on I think it was a BMW M5 and they want $800 for the ballast on the headlight. But he took one of the ballasts off and read it said Fiat with a part number on it, and they only want 120 pounds from Fiat. So that's what a lot of us do. We're resourceful here in the Recycle Garage. And so we were playing his videos. I think everyone was enjoying it. And he's just cheerful and has a good attitude. But watching those videos of him working on Lamborghinis and stuff actually has inspired me to get a little bit deeper into my KTM. And I've been in there replacing fasteners and taking rust. And I want to pull stuff off and paint it and just babying it a little bit more. So that's just my shout out, Matt Armstrong on YouTube. It's it may not be in cars as much, but the method that he does it and the attitude with which he does it and doing it right.
No, and I think that's
is I really appreciate.
I think that's the important thing, Liza, and it inspired you to get stuck into the KTM. And funnily enough, me and Liza are doing exactly the same job on our respective bikes right now, unbeknownst to each other. How's that for a coincidence? So,
Liza's machining her own bolts?
No, not quite. You're just replacing. But for those that know me, you know that when I kind of get into it, I turn my own nuts and bolts because I like them just so. And I'm going to
leave that one there.
And so,
too much of a softball there.
The the Harley, I've been looking at it. I think, God, this has got the shittiest fasteners on it. And the fasteners on that bike have pissed me off for a long, long time. So I've just, I've grabbed the bull by the horns and I'm like, I'm going to start replacing stuff with stainless steel. And so all the nuts and bolts I'm making on my lathe, but things like the front wheel axle, the swing arm pivot, the rear wheel axle, I'm having to buy. And they are quite expensive when you buy this thing.
Is that a forever bike for you or just a...
No, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, it's
you seem to like it.
You are fond of it.
Yeah.
I do. The only bike I can guarantee...
We all know that, Rufus.
I will never get rid of is Rufus. Everything else, I don't know. I mean, I like getting bikes up to a certain standard. Mm-hmm. And then, I don't know. I really don't know. I do like the Harley. I just like its Americanness.
Yeah.
It's like it is the quintessential American bike. It's big, it's loud, it's in your face. There's nothing subtle about it at all. But it's got this sort of undeniable presence on the road. And it's a very, very nice place to be when you're kind of blasting around the countryside of California. I think I mentioned it before. I had some friends visit from England and old school friends, and he's got 2 teenage children, a boy and a girl.
Oh, it's raining, if you can hear it.
Yeah, I was wondering that
we can. It is bucketing down. And we went down to Big Sur. And I took each of the children on the back of the Harley on this glorious sunny day on Highway 1 in Big Sur. And I mean, it was just the perfect vacation for them. Because, it's the most iconic road, iconic bike, beautiful sunshine.
It's fun just to get in and baby your baby.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we love them. We love our bikes, don't we, dear?
So we have some special guests calling in tonight in a few minutes. But before that, I wanted to give an update. So I was sharing with some of y'all in the garage earlier, but not everyone heard this. So, I've been following e-bike legislation, and we've talked about what are they going to do? And even I talked to AMA, and I was like, I want to contact Pete Buttigieg, and like, what are you going to do? And they said, this kind of stuff doesn't happen on the federal level. It has to start local, city, county,
like too
state,
confusing.
right?
You're not worried about it.
And then it'll probably happen after a lawsuit and a death.
This
is how laws happen.
Whenever someone can make money at it, that's when the government will care.
So, but interesting, there's some of this is starting to happen. And a lot of people are complaining. You get e-bike riders and these little electric scooters that kids are riding around that are faster than some of our small displacement scooters and motorcycles, but yet we're required to have a license, registration, and insurance. So here's just to keep up what's happening in the country. In New Jersey, there's a bill that's proposed that will require all e-bike riders to register and get insurance. Right. So that's well,
what's an e-bike?
I'm all for it.
What's an e-bike?
Well, and then, that needs to be qualified. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Oh, candy coming. California.
Right by your foot.
There's a bill that's proposed. And this is, excuse me, am I on your way while you're trying to reach that
Sorry, I need
candy?
I'm about ready to eat Jim's taco. I'm going to eat Jim's taco.
So here's what's happening in California. So again, these are just bills that are being proposed. And this is coming from an assemblywoman down in San Diego. This bill would ban children under the age of 12 from riding electric bikes. And any riders who are at least 12 but don't have a driver's license, how could they, right? Would be required to complete an online course, pass a written test, and get a state ID to legally operate an electric bicycle.
Okay, let's do it.
So that they can be held accountable they have to know the rules of the road and follow them and could be penalized for it. So it's interesting how 2 different states are proposing 2 completely different ways to legislate this.
Do they mention statistics as far as health and safety, like accidents and injuries and that kind of crap?
Maybe, but I didn't get fully into it. Neal, you're the one who said this probably came out of a...
Yeah, so 2 years ago, there was a crash on a rad power bike where an 11 and 10-year-old were riding on tandem on a steep downhill, and the brakes failed on the bike. They were going too fast, and they weren't able to stop at the bottom of the hill. They crashed, and one of the girls died. So her name is Molly Steinsapir. Is her name.
I think you made that up, but okay.
Yeah. And so they were suing Rad Power Bikes as a result of this.
Okay. Just while we're chatting, though, I bet there's probably 10 times, if not more, injuries that are very similar on pedal mountain bikes. Pedal mountain biking is dangerous, right? I think we all know that, right? But yet we don't look to regulate or legislate.
It's off-road, though.
That.
Well, I think they have kind of a different social contract, though. When you're riding a mountain bike, you're expected that you're going to fall off, and it is a riskier activity versus sending your kid loose on a bicycle on the street to just go from point A to point B.
Well, you don't. But no, I think we as an adult,
it's the appearance. The actuality is a little different.
Because as as a parent, we should all understand the risks of a bike like that. Anyway, I think there's enough legislating in the world that we got to crack down on 12-year-olds and because I see these kids around town all over the place, 2-up, riding with surfboards, helmet half on, all this kind of stuff. I'm like, if they were getting like run over left and right, and I'm sorry like that girl happened. It does happen, I'm sure. But I'm just saying that there's a lot of other dangerous stuff we don't regulate. Why are they, why focus in on this? It's going to make it more expensive. It's going to be a bigger barrier for people.
Because they're riding in bike lanes going faster than traffic.
Yeah.
Because
when you're on public roads, it
dangerous
changes a little bit. I'm just playing devil's advocate because I hate to just roll over and be like, tax us, make me register it, make it, all this kind of stuff.
Well, there already is a regulatory scheme in place for, class 1 and class 2, class 3 bikes. Yeah. And then things that are supposed to be mopeds and then things that are supposed to be motorcycles. Yeah. And unfortunately, technology allows us to make a bike that at the flip of a switch, you can convert it from a class 2 to something that can go 60 miles an hour.
So maybe it's the more powerful bikes that they're doing, like say the Super 73s. Would they be under this legislation?
Well, do you remember when we test rode the Bolt Now Monday motorbikes?
Yeah.
They had 2 modes, and they said street mode makes it qualify as a moped on the street, and it limits it to a certain speed.
It's the same reason it had pedals.
28 miles an hour for
off-road opens it up.
Yeah.
So they're like, that's how the bike manufacturer gets away with being it classified as a moped.
But I'm just curious because I see those Super 73s everywhere, right? And that's what all the kids are riding too. I'm curious, would those be subject to this? Because if they're not subject because of something, then I'm a lot more cool with it. If it's just those like really gnarly electric mountain bikes you see kids on. But if it's just the Super 73s, I'm like, anyway, I don't know. Are those
well, I mean, one of the guys was here recently with it was a Suron type bike, and it does 65 miles per hour.
No, those are cool. Yeah, those are wicked.
I want one of those.
Yeah.
Right. It
It's
does
almost
65.
basically electric.
But you have a license.
I do.
Yeah.
Right. But
that I can see.
A 14-year-old can ride that on the street.
Yeah.
Should that 14-year-old not have proven that they're aware of rules of the road? And should that 14-year-old be held responsible to have
I think
penalty?
it's graduated, right? So in a situation like that, they should have to take a class and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But if it's basically a little Super 73 that the kids are just ripping around the neighborhood
Depends what class is it set for. Is it a class 2 or a class 1?
I'll look.
When I was 15, I rode a IT 175 as my driver to school and such. And I used to get pulled. And so the law in Florida was 5 brake horsepower or less. You didn't have to have a license. So I get pulled over and the cop's like, well, how many horsepower does I have? And I don't know. You tell me. And he would look all around. He's like, just go. The point is like, how do you qualify the poor cops? You're going to stop every kid and have some kind of nebulous way to figure out how powerful the bike is?
So the 73 is a class 2 and goes up to 20 miles an hour.
Okay. So it has a thumb throttle, but you have to pedal.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, whatever.
Well, and you can take the same Super 73.
But the Onyx, for example, is the same way. It has pedals and a thumb throttle, so it's actually a class 3. But you can change it for so-called off-road mode, like you can with the Suron.
So, do you think that it's okay to take the Super 73 on an off-road bicycle trail?
Yeah, I don't know. That's where I have to let go of my own bias because.
And that's exactly my point. I don't think any of us here really have our own opinion of how it should be.
Those trails aren't made for motorized.
I'm acknowledging the fact that, I think there needs to be
Class 3s
legislation.
are banned from most trails anyway.
I think there needs to be some more, classification.
Just open up more roads for actual motorized vehicles.
Yeah.
My opinion is you really need to make the classification of these things fail-safe. Because if you don't, the people who classify them are going to be people who know nothing about them. And my biggest concern is we get kind of thrown under the bus because there's people doing all kinds of felonious activities on these e-bikes, which makes any form of motorized two-wheel transportation the pariah. And that's what we really need to avoid. We need to make sure that the people who are legislating and classifying these things actually know what they're doing and what they're looking at.
And that's a good point because the alternative would be to create bans. And I watched a YouTube video where in this township or whatever, they had banned powered vehicles from this off-road trail.
Okay.
And there was a guy who's a paraplegic who has a power wheelchair that's an off-road wheelchair that has these like knobby wheels that was made for him. And people were giving him shit and confronting him and telling him he can't be there. This is illegal.
Terrible.
Wow.
And he's like, it's my wheelchair. But it looked like an off-road utility vehicle, you know?
And arguably...
conundrum, ADA versus...
Yeah. So that's why it's like, I'm not passing judgment, but I'm saying I can see where there's all this overlap in all these vehicles. Right. And that it's fascinating to me to see how is this going to be handled.
Well, it'll probably be state by state. So in California, they're obviously encouraging people to get out of their car and much more bicycleable and walkable. The thing about the e-bikes, and they haven't taken off like I would hope they would maybe, but they make it so much easier to ride your bike around town or to and from work.
Right.
So, for example, if you go over the hill, there's a thing called the Bay Trail. It's a decomposed granite trail that runs along San Francisco Bay from San Jose, like all the way up San Francisco Peninsula, basically. I think it's on the other side too. And you can ride your bike and run. Yeah, and you can ride your bike and run for miles and miles. But like say you're a little bit older or, you got mobility issues or whatever, an electric bike allows you to do that, and encourages you to be outside and get more exercise and get out of your car. So I don't ride a bike that much or ever. So I don't know that much about it to comment. But yeah, I could see where it's difficult to draw a line where, like, how can you encourage people to be on a bike, but yet protect
ultimately
the
they're a good thing.
Ultimately,
they're a very, very good thing. But I think to approach them in this way that like anything goes and anything's fine, I think is a mistake. I mean, we really need to have knowledgeable people.
Well, after seeing those like really nice dirt mountain bikes that are electric. What are the Surons? Is that what they are?
Yeah, Suron, which is built like a full-on motorcycle with motorcycle-grade components.
That's what it looks like. All of a sudden, like a little electric trials motorcycle.
Yeah.
They're wicked. So yeah, I could see
long travel suspension, versus I mentioned Onyx. It's like a down tube U-shaped frame. It's built like a really flimsy moped.
Oh, that's cool. So would you have a license plate then? I wonder. Like a moped,
like a trailer or a moped that you don't have to renew every year, but it's registered.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not passing my opinions of how it should be. I'm just fascinated in that I can see there's this need. How is this going to be handled, and at what level is this handled?
Yeah.
So the loophole is that these bikes that have modes, they avoid the licensing scheme that's required for motorcycles because they fall into these three classes. And of course, also the requirement for insurance. So some manufacturers, and I've mentioned Onyx is one of them, have exploited that loophole, and by creating, really powerful battery packs and like 5 kilowatt motors that go on these things, that at the flip of a switch they can do 60 miles an hour. But so one, they're really fast and more beyond what their mission in life is, right? They're just outside of their societal contract.
And here's another thing we haven't even gotten into. Are you required to wear a helmet with them?
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yes, that's the Onyx RCR.
That looks wicked.
It is.
Take that to AMA Vintage Days.
Right.
Oh my god.
So I can see how but the unfortunate thing is usually there has to be deaths involved.
I think a class 3 you're required to wear a helmet and be over 16.
Yeah. I want the kids to be able to have the fun toys that I wish I had when I was a kid. But I also want them to, be following rules.
Yeah. Well, it's one thing. I'll shift the conversation a little bit. So there was a study done several years ago in the Netherlands examining bicycle accidents, in particular e-bikes. And they noticed a trend with e-bikes that it was mostly older men who were getting into wrecks on these things. And they speculated, they're not as physically capable. They're getting into it late in life versus being lifelong bicyclists and this kind of thing. And my take is the ones that I see flying down the trails aren't the kids. It's the older guys.
Oh, yeah. Who think they're kids. Yeah. We're always 19 upstairs.
Well, also when I was in New York City, they have, big bike lanes. And I look up and I see a bike. It's way up there. So I'm like, okay, I have time. No, it was an e-bike followed by an e-scooter going faster than it. They're going as fast as the flow of they're going like 50 miles an hour in the bike lane, and it's like, I wasn't prepared for that.
You can get this Onyx set up for dirt with side cases. That looks awesome.
Yeah, but it's like $5,000.
Look at the frame. It's just a single down tube.
Yeah, that's
snap that sucker.
Wild.
No way. That thing is not built for. Can you imagine how much flex it has?
Well, while you guys are looking that up, I wanted to give a quick shout out to sponsor of tonight's show.
Who is?
Vintage Rides.
Hey! We love Vintage Rides.
So, in just 4 weeks, I'm going to be heading out with Vintage Rides to Peru, for those who don't know.
Yes.
Vintage Rides is a tour company out of France, and they offer tours all over the world. I've never found a tour company with this many things that they offer that are affordable. So I'm really excited about it. So,
where are they out of again?
France.
Well,
they have offices in France and in India because they partner with Royal Enfield. So
France is the kind of place where people walk into a shop and buy a baguette and say, Zut alors.
Parlez-vous hummer?
Yes, exactly.
Whatever that is.
Let me give you an example.
Bonjour, ça va?
How about this, Emma?
Bonjour.
Would you like to go do a 7-day tour in Turkey on a women's tour? And it's under 2,000 francs. I'm not sure how that equates, but I'm guessing it's close-ish to pounds or dollars.
Francs or euros?
Francs, they're French.
No, France is euros. France is euros, you lol.
Oh, is it? Well, okay, euros then.
Yeah, so about $2,500.
Yeah, for a week. How about this, Jim?
It's a pretty good deal.
I'm down for France.
24 days in the Himalayas for 5,300 pounds.
Well, I may as well stay for 60 because I'll get fired.
Pounds or euros?
No, that's
euros. Sorry, euros. I don't know.
I know the trips are all the trips are
not
great.
Freedom Units. You can go to Morocco, South Africa, Argentina, Nepal.
Some of the ones in South Asia.
Namibia.
Really. Namibia.
I know.
You have to go through your armoire to get there.
Ecuador. All over. So I'm stoked to be going on a vintage ride tour that I discovered them.
How much was that? How many pounds was the one in France?
Oh, the 3-day.
Because that would be a killer vacation.
Bike.
Go to France. You could bring your friend. Make 3 days of it. Adventure riding like at a camp in France.
You know who may know how much that is?
Who would know? Do you think?
I bet you Wendy Crockett knows.
What? Wendy Crockett? She doesn't have time to answer our silly questions.
Oh, she might. Oh. There's a 1-day off-road training in France. It's 290 euros.
Is there a 3-day? I like that 3-day.
There is a 3-day. There is a 3-day for 990 euros.
I like that.
Like you could do a little side thing.
Heck yeah. That sounds fun.
Well, I don't know.
Anyway.
Well, we should find out more from Wendy, who I'm going to see next month. Wendy, are you there?
I'm here.
Hey!
Yay!
Hey! What's happening?
And did you bring your lovely cohort Ian with you?
I brought Ian. I don't know about lovely, but
look, I can see him right there. Hi, Wendy. Hello, Ian.
Hey.
Hello. How are you? Good to speak to you again.
Two crazy kids. Good
yes,
to see you.
Gosh. Gosh darn it.
It's been almost a year to the day since we talked to y'all last.
Really?
Since you rebuilt a BMW.
Wow.
I was going to say it has to be about a year. And
yes.
look what
February 13th.
Look what has happened in the year. See, you went on a little ride, and I'm holding this giant encyclopedia-sized book, which covers.
I was gonna compliment you on your upper body strength, Emma.
Well, it's a workout. Look at this. This is a weapon of epic school grade proportion. I mean, you could, if you chucked this at an unsuspecting school child, you could do some brain damage. It's a big, heavy book.
It's a weapon of inspiration.
It is a weapon of inspiration.
You use it to fix those cysts that you get on your hand. They call them Bible cysts.
Oh yeah, Bible thumb. Well, so let's just get to the official introduction. Hey, so if you don't remember, Wendy and Ian have been on here before when they went and set a world record long distance ride that involved Australia and US and Canada, was it?
Yep.
Yes. You guys are crazy, those crazy kids. But then crazier than that, you wrote a book. Well, you wrote a brick. I call it the brick. You wrote a doorstop called Pushing Miles, a chronicle of motorcycles, mayhem, and metal by Wendy Crockett and Ian McPhee. So I didn't even know you guys were doing this, writing this book. And it is big. And as you said, you have so many more stories to share that you couldn't even fit into the hour you were with us last time. So I said, let's come on back and share some more stories from the book. I wanted to say
it is a top new release in travel writing.
I was going to say, you've already hit some marks, just like you seem to be dumbfounded just by putting the word out. It's on Amazon. So let's give a quick plug. And you guys have been selling units. Has it been surprising you?
It has. And I think, we had discussed frequently that both of us committed to buying one book. So we knew at least for sure we would sell two. But beyond that, you never know how interested people are going to be in this gigantic story. But
what was the title again?
Pushing Miles.
Pushing Miles. I like it.
So when you both appeared on the show last year, it proved to be quite a popular show. So it's obvious that the stories that you have resonate with not just long distance riders, but motorcyclists and people in general. So it to me, this is the most natural thing in the world. You've got great stories. Put pen to paper.
When we rode the ride, and when we call it the ride, it's from when we started in Australia to finish in the States, so the whole 6 months. We recognised as we were riding it that a lot of it wasn't about motorcycles. It was about the people you run through,
right?
The people that help you out, the people you have a random 30-second conversation with that were fascinating for that 30 seconds or minute you're talking to them. It was the billion dogs we got to pet that we never even thought about petting before we left home. And so, yes, while motorcycles were the vehicle that made the ride happen and made the story, created the story was about so much more than that. And so when we wrote the story, we being the Victorian royal we.
And that's a whole other challenge to have two authors of one book.
Yeah. So we fixed that. We fixed that very simply by me creating 99.5% of the carnage and Wendy writing 99.5% of the story about the carnage.
Oh, there you go then.
That's equitable.
That's igual. Now, is it truly an effort of both of you, or did you have it ghostwritten? Or parts of it ghostwritten? No.
So how we did this is, we started out with the greatest of optimism,
right? Of
believing
course.
that nothing would go wrong, right? And
what could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong?
Was it
registered trademark?
What was that little part?
We're like two angels on the road having a great time. It's like, oh,
yes,
and then things went to shit.
Then about 666 chaoses in, we were like, we need to start writing some of this down because I'm not going to be able to remember all of this. So I started making the notes and then, fleshing out the notes kind of as we went along. And what happened at the end of the ride, I kind of filled out my notes that I had made at high speed going down the highway. And shared them with Ian. And I said, okay, we're not going to talk about this. And each of us are going to write our recollection without comparing notes.
Without the influence of the other. Exactly.
Right. How much overlap there was and that type of thing. So once we had each written our recollection of the entire trip, then we meshed them together. Then we kind of interwove.
Somewhere in the middle lies the truth.
Right. Exactly.
Well, I mean, you got two people looking at exactly the same thing, and they'll see a slightly different thing and report it slightly differently, even though it's both the truth.
Yeah.
And we had that happen numerous times.
And I think that's a big part of what makes it so interesting is you can have the same, we both lived the same day. I mean, joined at the handlebar, and the perception of the events is just, it's really interesting in how some days we were just perfectly aligned and some days it was I just can't fathom how he didn't perceive these things the same as I did or vice versa, and then we come back together and we find a way to move forward. And what's really been interesting, and it was something that we worked really hard on as we were putting the book together, when we were working with our ghost readers and our editors, we specifically picked an editor who doesn't ride. We picked ghost writers from all sorts of different walks of life, people who knew us and who didn't, and who ride and who don't, because we wanted this to be something that was interesting and relatable to a whole different swath of people than just the LD world.
Not just us wackadoos, two-wheeled wackadoos.
But I've said over and over again that motorcycles, as much as we love them, they're completely inanimate objects. It's just metal and rubber and plastic. When you introduce the human element, that's when it becomes interesting. So really, the greatest stories are stories about the human condition.
Who's bing bonging?
We actually did have one little bit in our book where the two motorbikes are looking at each other while there's a bit of maintenance going on, and the story is relayed in that couple of paragraphs from the motorbike's point of view.
Well, and just again, going back, if people don't remember the first episode, tell us what bikes you were riding and how many miles you traveled to set this world record in what time frame.
So we started in April 2022 in Australia. Over here in Australia, we had at the time a blue FJR 2001 model. We only did about 16 or 17,000 miles over here in the 6 weeks, so it wasn't that big a distance. That was Wendy's bike. Yep. I was riding a 2012 Yamaha Super Tenere, and once again, it did about 16,000 miles or something. It wasn't many. And then we transitioned to the States, had all of that startup problem over there. But over there, I have a 2001 BMW, an R1100 RT.
The latest cutting technology.
Well run in. That's how it started the ride.
Yes.
And I think it finished with like 176,000 miles or something when I finished at the end of the 6 months.
So 100
and a lot of pages in a book.
So wait, so how many miles in 6 months did you do here?
Between the two countries, it was over 100,000 miles, just over 100,000 miles.
In just a few months, which is crazy.
Especially when you take out all the down days.
Yeah, all the trials and tribulations, yeah.
I was on a 2005 FJR, to answer your question, and then the Guinness portion of the ride was 80,208 miles.
Wendy, you truly are queen of the FJRs. I mean, I think Yamaha should give you a bike for this promotion you do of FJRs.
You would think.
Was that the same when your husband crashed at Vintage Days?
Yeah, it is the same one.
They won't even give her a cup of coffee. Let alone a bloody motorbike.
He got in trouble.
Oh, I mean, the downside is I love it so much, and that I rep for it unpaid. That's my downfall.
Well, we have I believe that's an Emma. Is that the silver FJR right there?
Oh, hang on, you're asking me to turn around.
I always think, that's Wendy's bike right there. We have a model. Oh, don't worry about it. Yeah, I think we have one there.
That is indeed an FJR in 1/12 scale.
You are represented here And I'm sure, and Ian, yours is the BMW R bike?
Correct.
RT?
R1100 RT, yeah.
Oh, yes. I have one of those.
And Ian is now also the proud owner of an FJR.
Oh, you got to him. I have an R1100 RT out in the garage. So you guys wrote this book. There was somebody nice enough to highlight some of their favorite some lines in the book that I wanted to share with everyone just to set this off before you guys get into some of your stories, because I think this is brilliant. So one of the things that made this trip possible is that you are both mechanics and you know your bikes very well and are both capable in maintaining and keeping them going. Do you know what I'm about to read that was highlighted on Facebook? I love this. You guys are going to like this. And I don't know who wrote this, so you can tell me. All right, it says, I said we are both mechanics. Here's a fun fact. Swearing can be one of the most critical tools in one's kit. It sounds like
that sounds something an Antipodean would say.
Yeah, it says, it's true. Enthusiastic cursing is even listed as a critical step in some service manuals, just not the ones sold to the public. Now, some people may say that swearing is a sign of a weak mind, and frankly, fuck those people. At this point, we're just skipping ahead. At this point, experienced mechanics won't get mad. They'll get sweary. They'll toss out a heartfelt, fuck you, you motherless goddamn piece of salty, tick-infested, goat ball-licking, miserable bastard ass shit monster. And then the bolt suddenly breaks free.
Oh, yeah.
Who do you think wrote that?
Wendy wrote that. And you can tell the difference between Wendy's swearing and my swearing, because Wendy uses words with lots and lots of letters, and I tend to limit mine to words that have got 4.
Yes. Very nice and salty, Wendy. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank
you very much.
I love that. So, you want to share some more stories? I mean, you already told us about Ian almost dying when his bike falling apart and Wendy getting emergency surgery. What else could you have to share with us?
Tell you what, it's one of those things that isn't motorcycle related, but it's related to the story.
Oh.
And it's American barbecue.
Oh.
How sideways is that? That's not what you're expecting, is it? So I've been American back to the
Live to ride, ride to eat. That's our motto.
Yeah, I know. Well, I've had a lot of your American barbecue, and quite frankly, it's fucking terrible.
Oh, shots fired.
Words.
Anyway,
go put another shrimp on the barbie.
No, he's absolutely right.
No,
don't
he's
you
not
blaspheme
right.
in here.
The stuff
Don't
that's
you
slathered.
blaspheme.
Nothing like Texas brisket.
Hold on. Ian, I have a follow-up question to this. Is it the meat that's subpar, or is it the
preparation?
The preparation.
Well, I guess it depends on what you want your slop to taste like. That's more often what it looks like.
So,
to put a little finer point on it, there's regional differences in barbecue. So you've been all over the country. You have Texas barbecue. You have Alabama style with mustard. North Carolina. In California, we have Santa Maria barbecue.
It's pretty clear. It all sucks.
I have a follow-up question. Ian, do you prefer a wet sauce or a dry rub?
I actually like them both.
Oh, sure you do.
So it's got to be situational.
Okay, now I'm curious because I do like to eat. Who has?
It doesn't bother me whether the
then?
lights are on or off.
Who has the good barbecue?
Koreans.
Koreans have great barbecue.
Tell you what,
is awesome. Yeah.
Who has the good barbecue?
Tell you what, the guy who had the best barbecue in America that I've ever had.
Okay, here we go.
JR's Roadhouse in Rapid City, South Dakota. If you don't know who he is, beat feet up there and buy something off that guy. And I tell you what, man, that stuff is just wonderful.
All right, good to
know. And it's conveniently located near Wendy.
In the Black Hills.
Exactly. And it looks like meat without having been bashed to death or turned into slop. And it doesn't have sauce that also adds the meat flavor because the flavor's in the meat and the sauce just gives it that a little bit more, you know? And
So we'll have to, somebody on Facebook suggested a ride to sign. So we'll have to do some sort of a cooperative ride to sign at JR's barbecue to double tempt everyone to ride up to Rapid City.
Like that.
Nice.
Right.
I wish I had known when I was there.
Yeah.
Oh man, it is a hole in the wall, but it is well worth it. So
Exactly.
good. And this is coming
really
from
good.
somebody who has had entire vacations literally just going from barbecue joint to barbecue joint, as JR's is the best.
So you guys have mentioned that you had many things that would have stopped most people, I think. Many obstacles to overcome. And I know we talked about a lot of them. Let's give us some of the highlights, things you overcame, and then share us maybe some of the stories of obstacles you overcame that we haven't heard yet.
Wow, well, where do you start?
They're like, they're still beat down.
It's been really entertaining for me, to have people reach out. I mean, like in person and online and everything else. And they're like, man, I cannot believe how much stuff you guys overcame and you fought through. And, you still kept going. And I'm like, well, where are you? And they're like, we're like halfway through Australia. I'm like, oh, you have no idea. We were just warming up.
I'd like to ask you something, because I mean, the book overall, it's a joyous book, and it is full of overcoming obstacles, but it's such an upbeat book, and both of your sense of humor really shows through. What was the absolute lowest point on the trip? The absolute lowest point where you really question, it's like, this path of life that I'm on may not be the right path for me.
So we had a couple of really, really low points.
I want the lowest of the low, and I hate to go there.
It may have been the barbecue.
They are painful to talk about.
I think realistically the lowest of the low was the grenaded gearbox. And I think, we alluded to that when we were on the show last time,
right? That
we have all of these videos of us in these impossible situations, showing the frame busted in half, showing the blowouts, all of these things. And we always found something to be upbeat about. That, we're standing on the side of the road with a blowout, and we're going, at least it's a beautiful night to be sleeping in the grass. And then the storm unleashes on us, and we still find something to laugh about. But when the gearbox grenaded in that video, you just see defeat for the first time.
And that was you. That was your bike, wasn't it, Ian?
Yeah. I mean, my poor old Buffalo, mate, I've ridden that bike for 10 years, and it has never given me a minute's trouble.
Well, they're great until they're not.
Oh,
Thank
you.
But no, and I mean, I had. Funnily enough, I thought of you guys right around Christmas. I had a lovely gentleman from Berlin show up at my shop on the back of a flatbed with an Africa Twin, one of the original Africa Twins, and he'd been riding around the world for 10 years. 10 years he'd been on the road. And this thing had done 260,000 kilometers. So that's what, about 150,000 miles. So similar mileage to your BMW, Ian. And he had just been plagued with problem after problem in a very, very short space of time. And he said, but this bike has been reliable 100% up to this point. And I said to him, there is a point where they just stop being like that. Now you've got to start thinking about doing a little bit of damage control. And I put a fuel pump in it, which got him down the road. But then he was having CDI problems, and he was having generator problems, and these problems, and these problems, and these problems. But as far as I know, he overcame it. The last I heard from him, he was in... I got him to Tijuana, and I think he had to do some more work on his bike. And I think now he's in Central America. He's down Bolivia way now. So he's doing pretty well. So,
as Ian has said, nothing is ever broken. Just add money.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's all it takes. All it takes is money. Well, what about the surgery? What about?
I'd like to hear the end of that story.
Wait, hold on. Which one?
How did you fix? Yeah. How did you get from the side of the road with a grenaded gearbox to back on the road?
Yeah.
Rode it.
You rode it with a grenaded gearbox.
You know where Rachel, Nevada is? it's this little tiny dot between Alamo and Tonopah.
Okay, yeah.
On the extraterrestrial highway.
Right.
It's
I've been through there.
We were 20 miles south of that when the gearbox gave the biggest bang you've ever heard. A bike jumped under my feet. I actually thought it was going to throw me down the road. Pulled the clutch in and obviously disconnected the drive off the engine, and everything kept rotating. And I thought, oh, did I dream that? Or did it really happen? So I let the clutch out with no extra power on, just sort of rolling along. Oh, no, it must have dreamt it because nothing went bang. So then I put some power back on. Bang, 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 bang. Ah, shit, man.
Right.
So here we are, 20 miles out of Rachel. It's mid-afternoon, late afternoon, and there's no cell service out there, but she's right, we'll get around it. So we stopped on the side of the road and we looked at each other and said, well, we can't stay here. We're not going to get anything done here. Let's try and ride it, see how far it gets. So we clanged and banged our way 20 miles to Rachel.
At about 30 miles an hour.
At about 30 miles an hour, yeah. Wendy got this all through her headset because we were still connected. She got clang, clang, bang, bang. She said, ooh, that
was there cursing happening too?
No,
it was quiet.
We had nothing to say.
At that point, because you got to remember when this went wrong, we had just been down a week waiting for tires, and we had ordered replacement tires to come in to wait for us at our hotel, and through a miscommunication, they had been rejected.
Oh.
And right before a holiday weekend, and they had been sent back to the warehouse, and there was no way to recover them. So we'd lost a week.
Right.
And we were 800 miles into our first day back after getting the tires. And, we're on comms and Ian says, I have to pull over. And I said, no, you don't. You don't. We're not even a day in. So it was one of those that it was obviously so bad. Almost we didn't want to speak it into existence. So we were going, I was behind him on this highway. And this is a minor highway off the loneliest highway. So I think we only had 2 people pass us the entire time, but I was, running tail gunner with my hazards on, and we didn't say anything.
So did you get it to Vegas to find a gearbox, or rebuild it on the side of the road, or at the hotel?
Oh, well, this is part of the story that's got nothing to do with motorbikes, right? So we got into Rachel, and we were just like, demoralized isn't even an adequate way to describe how I personally felt. It was just like, I just can't keep going with this anymore. So we had half an hour there just to regroup, and then we said, look.
I went inside because Ian just, he was at that point where he was so sad that he needed a little bit of space. So I went inside. I went inside to get him a lemonade, and I walked inside and went to the little girl's room while I was in there, and I'm standing there just washing my hands and turn around to leave, and somebody sprays my face straight full of fly killer in the bathroom. So yes, apparently there was a girl was supposed to have cleared the bathroom and somehow missed me while I was in there, and
oh wow,
the guy was walking around spraying bug killer directly in my face. So yes, I come out blinded, carrying 2 lemonades, coughing and sputtering, saying, it's gotta get better from here.
Have you ever considered that there may be signs being given to you?
So what did you do? How'd you fix it?
So what happened was we rode that bike for another, how far was it across to the intersection? Like 70 miles or something?
It was, I don't know. It was in the book. 45 miles or something like that. It normally would have taken us about a half an hour.
And the whole way over, it's just clanging and banging and crunching and grinding under my feet the whole way.
Right.
We're doing 30 mile an hour. Anyway, we get to the intersection and we've got to turn right to head back to Ely, which is fine, but it's up an uphill grade. Fairly slight, but it's uphill, which wouldn't have been a problem if we could have rolled the sign.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we've been through that sign 50 times and never, ever had a car or a truck or anything at it to even see, let alone stop us. Well, this particular night, we pulled up there and there was a semi-trailer right at the right place where I physically had to stop and put my feet down and let him go past. So we're still with our phone signal, right? So we turn right, we're trying to get up this grade, and the banging and clanging is getting that violent that the bike is kind of bouncing up and down at this point.
Oh, my word.
Anyway, we get about half a mile up the road, and there's this little tiny pull-out, and we pulled up in this pull-out going, well, that's about as far as we're going to get this thing. We pulled out our phones. Wendy had 0 signal, and I had half a bar.
Oh, man.
Oh.
And it was enough signal strength to contact the insurance company who arranged the tow, and then husband and wife team turned out from Ely. We loaded the Buffalo up at like 11 o'clock at night, and by 1 a.m. we were back in Ely. And part of the people side of this story is where the three of us were in that cab with Shannon's Kelpie. He's a blue heeler cattle dog type dog, and which was talking about the randomness of the three of us being stuck in a cab of a truck in the middle of the night in the middle of nowhere. And I asked him, would you know anybody that would grant me some space to work on my bike? I need somewhere to pull the transmission out, because at that point we were staying at the 4.7s in Ely, and I was going to pull it out there in the car park and just do it in the dirt. But if we had no recourse to a workshop. Well, Shannon and Kelly looked at each other, and Shannon just said, mate, you can fix it in our workshop.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, man.
Nice.
So we dropped the bike in their yard at 1 o'clock in the morning. They dropped me off at the 4.7s and went home, and I never, ever saw them again. Because for the whole of the rest of the next week, they were out of town.
And so the damage, did it stay in the transmission, or did it get to the cranks or anything?
No, it stayed in the transmission. We the following day I walked down to the workshop. It's like 4.5 miles in motorcycle boots. Walked down there, got the bike started, rode it round into the workshop. There's actually a video of it just crashing and banging and grinding its way through the yard. Anyway, got it up in the workshop. Fantastic workshop. It was like being in heaven, basically. Pulled the transmission out, and Wendy had found another transmission on eBay, and we got that down as quickly as we could and put it in. And that was all it took.
That's great.
So, and Neal, I don't know if you're familiar with their trip. So they're going around the country doing miles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you how they decided how to travel. Can you imagine visiting every state in alphabetical order?
I saw that. So there's a lot of crisscrossing you have to do.
What would be the first 3 states they have to visit?
So Alaska,
Alabama, Alaska,
Arkansas.
B would be.
Well, and wasn't it the capital too?
Yeah,
Wendy?
go to the capital.
Yep.
Yeah. Right.
They did not make this easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
hard,
and
and they made it
Ian
much,
is
much
not
harder.
a city kind of boy, so that made it extra
ridiculous.
festive.
Yeah.
So, how many hospital visits were there in total?
Well, there was two hospitalizations.
Only 2.
And then
Three.
Saying 3.
the urgent care. Oh yeah, 3 hospitalizations.
There it is.
Yeah.
And who were they?
And one bedriddenness, so call it 4.
Yeah, you had urgent care, and then you opted for hotel
Wendy
rehab
care.
with Nurse Wendy.
So what kind of injuries were there?
Well,
I mean, there was really only, I tried to cut my thumb off, but we didn't bother to go to the hospital for that. You can, just bubble gum and some
Duct
electrical
tape.
tape.
Fishing line,
We're
yeah.
good to go.
or let's put it this way.
But
How many were caused by a motorcycle crash?
0.
There it
Zero.
There
is.
you go.
Yeah.
That's
What?
the thing.
So would you go to the hospital?
Yeah.
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 Was it dysentery?
So
Do you have the shits really bad?
Oh, no.
Derby,
The first-
Texas barbecue did it.
yeah, first time in my entire life, I had kidney stones.
Oh.
And Yeah, the problem is I have bad kidneys to begin with. I have a genetic kidney condition that make them extremely cranky, and so having never had kidney stones before, and I was very conscious to hydrate and go to the bathroom when I had to go to the bathroom and so on and so forth. But apparently, I had been building, crafting, caring for this kidney stone for quite some time because I had two that were 12 millimeters apiece.
Oh wow!
I had a 12 millimeter just a few months ago.
Holy cow!
Yep.
My sympathies to you, sir.
Thank you. Laser.
So better or worse than having a baby?
No, it was worse by far.
Wow.
Yeah, and I can tell you, I had a kidney infection just before my daughter was born, unmedicated childbirth, and by far it was worse, the kidney pain. But yeah, they couldn't do laser with me because of my my kidney condition.
Oh man!
So it had to be actual surgery, and so it was a bit bigger than what it would have been if they were able to do it with the laser.
So how long were you out of action before you could ride again?
The first time in Australia, it was they weren't it all happened so rapidly that the night before we were supposed to be on the airplane, I mean, and we're talking like 10 hours before we were supposed to be on the airplane, this hit. But by the time we went in the hospital and they saw me, my kidneys were so badly infected that they wouldn't be able to do the surgery. So they were able to just put a stent in. So I was in the hospital for a week to make sure that, all the infection was resolved and that type of thing. And they said, okay, you're probably good. We kind of got in there, poked the stone out of the way. So you're probably good for up to about 8 weeks. And then you really need to get the stent replaced because it basically acts like a string if you think of like rock candy. And then you're going to potentially start having stone material form on this stent. And then it stops being a simple procedure to remove it and replace it and becomes a full surgical procedure.
And so there was no thoughts of, let's just call it off.
No.
I like that.
No.
So
how do we work around this?
So one section in the book, you had an interaction with a doctor who wasn't very supportive of your schedule. Can you?
Oh,
and a certain flowery phrase came up in that.
So infuriating.
That guy.
So we knew that we were going to have to. I am fine with completely disregarding my health almost entirely, without exception. But I really didn't want to. It was going to be longer than that 8 weeks before the ride was done, and we really had some concerns about letting the stent stay in too long and creating more problems for me. So I wanted to get the ball rolling with the urologist here in the U.S. so that after the ride, which we were going to like squint and kind of shove that out to about 12 weeks. But I wanted to have that ball rolling so I could get the surgery done right after the ride was completed. But I knew all they needed to do was just, say hi and blood pressure and pee in a cup and the very basic stuff. And I, explained to them what we were doing. And is there any possible way that we could do this via telemedicine? And I know damn well we could do it via telemedicine because this is right after the pandemic. And so everybody can do everything via anything. And they were just like, no, solid no. You need to come into the office. So we were cranky, but we set up an appointment and we did our best to foresee the future, which obviously, if we were any good at that, we would not have done this ride at all. So we tried to project when we were going to be going through town that we could see the guy without any major deviation. Well, that didn't work. So we made the major deviation to go into town for this appointment. And the guy, it was exactly as I predicted. Because I used to work in the medical field. I was an EMT. I worked in surgery. I know what's involved. And the guy, his assistant checked my blood pressure and I peed in the cup, and he walked in and said, great. Well, let's schedule you out for a couple of weeks for surgery. There was nothing that couldn't have been done via telemedicine and with me, stopping into an urgent care somewhere. But the guy says to me, so you're doing some sort of like ride or something, some sort of like Guinness thing? He said, yeah. And he goes, well, is it on a bicycle? Because it'd be impressive if it was on a bicycle.
Oh, geez.
So,
but yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where, we understand that people don't grasp what we're doing. Long distance riding in general is really beyond the average person's scope of understanding the why. But, the nurse just kind of making happy chat, what are you going to do? What do you got planned for the rest of the day? And I said, well, I'm doing this instead of sleeping. And she goes, oh, okay, well, we'll get you going so you can get to sleep. And it's like, I'm not leaving here and then sleeping. I'm doing this instead of sleeping today. Like this is my time that I had allotted for sleep today. That I'm seeing you instead. But it's, again, one of those conversations that no amount of talking is going to allow a normie to wrap their head around the fact that I only have so many hours in the day.
And I think that applies to a lot of our lifestyles. I mean, if you try and explain the motorcycle lifestyle to anybody who's really not involved, it really doesn't make a great deal of sense on the surface.
Right.
I agree.
But, they kind of work their way into our hearts. Wendy, what is your opinion of the Australian medical care?
It was great. I have had in any number of hospitals around the world tour, which Liza has politely requested that I not extend to our Peru trip. So I've taken that under advisement. But yeah, it was great. I really appreciate the way everything it's priced out ahead of time before you go in, because as a foreigner, I'm not obviously covered under the National Health Plan.
Right.
Everything was very specifically explained, what was going to be required of me in order for me to pay. And it was super busy, but we were in Brisbane too, is a big town. Immediately post-COVID. I mean, we were a few weeks post-COVID at this point. So that was another part of the complicating factor is Ian couldn't be in there with me. I couldn't have anybody else in there with me. So I'm kind of navigating all of this by myself. And that was just because of COVID era restrictions. But yeah, it was excellent. So it was right up there with Mexico on my positive international surgeries list.
So if you had a word of advice I'm preparing to take a 9-day trip in Ireland in a couple of months. Besides getting health insurance, which is something that you need to do for Ireland because U.S. health insurance doesn't work. What other advice would you have for people for staying healthy on the road?
Yeah, I was going to say, getting travel insurance is definitely worth a few bucks of investment and spend a little time doing some research and picking something. Everybody's got their own unique criteria. I have standalone repatriation insurance, so it's not as important for me to have good repatriation coverage. But like I said, I do have this condition, a genetic condition with my kidneys. So I want to make sure that pre-existing conditions are covered. I want to make sure that I have pretty good benefits. As far as staying healthy on the road, I'd say the same thing that I'd say for any sort of motorcycle travels is don't scrimp on hydrating. That's so important.
Yeah.
Don't eat a bunch of like weird things, and by weird, I don't mean like ethnic food, although there's always a bit of a risk when you're, buying from food stalls and that type of thing. But I mean, don't go on the road and be like, now I'm eating my entire diet from, prepackaged junk food and gas station food, things like that always have you're running the risk of throwing your system into disarray. Mm-hmm.
So make the effort and time to find healthy, well-prepared food that isn't sketchy with flies.
Unless you're Liza.
Swirling it.
Unless you're Liza.
Twizzlers.
Definitely want that. Gas station ham sandwich.
Yeah, exactly.
Gas station sushi.
So, looking through their book, and they've given a tool in the back of the book that is very helpful for anyone reading it. It is a glossary of terms. So I'm turning this into game time for everyone here. So I'm going to read some of these phrases or words, and we're going to take turns and see if you can figure out what the heck it means. I'm guessing a lot of these came from Ian. So first, I'm going to start. Jim, I'm going to ask you.
Yes.
What is a beer cave?
A beer cave?
What is a beer cave?
It's a cave that houses beer.
All right, Wendy, then I'm going to go to you. What is a beer cave? How much did you learn from Ian?
That's actually not an Ian phrase.
Oh, it's not.
That's a Wendy one.
No,
that's a Wendy one.
It's a US.
Yes.
Like in the convenience stores and whatnot, when you can walk into the walk-in refrigerator.
Yeah, I like that. That feels good too.
Cave.
Yeah, they have those in Oregon.
All right, we're going around. All right, Neal, what is a bikie?
A bikie?
What's a bikie?
A motorcyclist.
All right, Wendy, what is a bikie?
So a bikie would be like we would consider a 1%er here.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
All right, Emma.
Yes, darling.
What do you think a bogan is?
A bogan?
A bogan. B-O-G, laughing. B-O-G-A-N. Bogan.
Something you pull out of your nose? I don't know.
Right.
It's the past tense
Ian.
of something you pull out of your nose.
All right, good guess. Ian, what's a bogan?
A bogan is our equivalent of your redneck.
Oh,
really? A bogan?
Uncouth or unsophisticated person.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Yes. All right.
I'm going to own
that. All right. John, what is a Bowser?
He used to play in Sha Na Na, didn't he?
It's a great name for a dog.
It is. Maybe it's a dog.
All right. Wendy?
Bowser is like a fuel pump.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, and actually that is a military term, and I think it was England and Australia who used it. I mean, certainly on airfields, you always called for the fuel Bowser.
Huh.
Okay.
To refuel your Spitfire, don't you know what, eh?
Oh, so like a dispensing pump from a storage.
Like a tender.
Yeah, it's like a tender.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like as opposed to the fuel pump on your bike.
All right, Jim?
Right.
Yes.
What is a farking spanner?
Yeah. Well, you're looking for it. Where's that fucking spanner? God damn it!
That's exactly right. Where's my farking spanner?
Where's that fucking spanner?
Ooh,
Another word for missing.
really good. All right. Oh, Bagel.
Yes.
Hork.
Hork. Isn't that when you cough something up from like the bottom of your lungs?
Pork that loogie, you bugger.
It's like your cat horks up a hairball.
Right?
Exactly.
All right.
Set it to
Wendy,
techno.
do you know what hork is?
I think you hawk up a loogie and you hork down food.
Yes.
Oh,
Eat quickly and gobble. Let's see. Oh, all right, Neal. Menke.
Menke.
Oh, I know this one.
What's Menke?
Oh, goodness. A beard?
Oh,
No.
good guess. All right, Ian.
Manky. That's what things are when they smell terrible. And look,
Yeah.
smell manky.
It's like janky, but it's manky.
Yeah, it's manky.
Growing its own disease, that thing.
Manky.
Stay away from it.
You could say manky or mingy. God, it's a bit mingy, isn't it?
Yeah. Manky,
All right.
mingy, mungy.
All right, Emma.
Yes.
What is a right-hand time machine?
A right-hand time machine.
Yes. A right-hand time machine.
a gentleman's idea of a good Saturday night, perhaps.
Only if you're a righty.
A right-hand.
So that'd be a good time machine.
Right-hand time machine. God, I should know this.
You should. I think I know this.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, take a stab.
It's a throttle.
Oh, it could be.
Exactly.
Throttle?
Yeah, you go faster.
Wide open.
Oh,
Make
yes.
up for last
Make
time.
up time.
Full
Right-hand
throttle
time.
baby bottle.
Yeah.
Yes, very good.
All right, John.
Yep.
Rort. What is rort? R-O-R-T.
Oh, R-O-R-T.
Rort.
Rort.
That's the schmeg you get in your underwear when you.
Why is that?
No, Johnny,
Most
no.
of us don't get that.
No, Johnny, no.
Sorry.
There's Rorty, which is, like a...
Yeah, no. Rort. Since he guessed. Ian, you want to tell him what rort is?
A rort is like a scam, right?
It's a scam.
A rort of great magnitude is like a scam of great magnitude. It's the Australian word for it.
All right, keep going. These are good. All right, Jim.
Yes.
Seppo. S-E-P-P-O. Seppo.
Suppo. Let's see.
And this is going to need to be explained because even the definition, I'm like, what?
Oh, let's see. We got to go get some suppo. I don't know. Suppo's a tough one. I want to say, what's up, bro? What's suppo?
Oh.
We're going to get some suppo.
Ian, how'd he do?
It's either, I'm going with
Nowhere
suppo.
near it.
You want to explain this one?
Yeah, I'm actually going back to the description myself.
Okay, you want me to
Right,
read
so-
it?
No, I've
Says
got it. I've got it.
Aussie
I've got a book.
rhyming
You
slang.
wouldn't be surprised I've got a book.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, yeah, and you have a glossary. Seppo.
Yeah.
Aussies abbreviating everything slang
Mm-hmm.
equals Americans. Wait, Americans. I don't understand this. Americans equals Yanks rhymes with septic tanks. Seppos.
Equals Seppos.
Oh.
Perfect
Oh,
logic sense.
okay. Septic tank, yank. And then you rub the septic tank. Okay.
Just gets shorter and
Nothing
shorter
to do
and
with
shorter.
Sasquatch. I thought it was Sasquatch for a minute.
Merkins. Merkins.
Sassy.
Merkins.
Merca.
All right, I just have
Merkins.
Merkin?
a couple
I
more.
know what that is.
Merkins and
We see
Merkins.
one shortly.
Oh, God.
All right, Bagel.
Yes.
What is a skirt method? And this is S-K-E-R-T. Skirt method.
Beats the rhythm method.
I've
This is
never
a real
heard
thing.
of this.
This is a real thing.
Which one of you did this one come from?
Wendy.
From Wendy.
Me.
Okay.
I didn't make up the term, but I used it.
Okay, yeah.
I used it after I hit the kangaroo.
wait.
If that
Bagel
helps.
hasn't answered yet. All right.
Okay.
Bagel, what is a skirt method?
It's a This is a real puzzle.
It's the girly equivalent of a trouser method.
I was going to say it's well, if it involves like a kangaroo strike, then it has to involve some sort of a pair.
Almighty. No, it came from Wendy. It came from Wendy, sweetie.
Right. But
Not
she was in
Ian.
Australia.
So
yeah, well.
is it involve tying up some part of the bike so you can continue on your journey?
Time me kangaroo down sport?
No, not quite.
So, Wendy, you want to explain what skirt method is?
See, I was with all the discussion of barbecue, I was expecting the skirt method to be like a skirt steak.
No.
Yes, but no. Skirt is a person, and she teaches how to pick up dropped bikes.
Oh,
And so
It's a method for
basically
picking up a
it's-
bike.
It's where your bike's laying on the side, and you put your butt on the seat, and
Oh, the
grab
shuffle.
on the grab rail and grab on the handlebar, and do baby step it back up, upright.
Very cool.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I just got a couple more. Let's see. Jim, do you know what a stubby cooler is?
Oh, it's not John's cooler. I was going to say that.
should have-
It's not Stumpy
A
cooler.
stubby cooler.
A stubby. It's something where you keep your stubby when it gets too hot, I would think.
I guess.
Or it's a small cooler. I'm going to go with it's where you keep your stubby, and it's probably like a styrofoam cup that you got full of sweet tea when you were going through Alabama.
Okay, I have a follow-up question. What is a stubby?
I know what a stubby is.
Don't we all?
Short beer.
Ian?
So a stubby is what we call a beer. It's 375 mil. I'm not quite sure what that converts to in fluid ounces, but it's like
it's 12.
Like a
12
can
freedom
size.
That's 12 freedom units.
Yes.
We call them stubbies because they're in glass.
Right.
They're in glass. And the stubby cooler is like a styrofoam wrap that goes around it, keeps the
It's a
things
koozie.
cold.
Ding, ding, ding.
It's a koozie.
I got it.
Koozie, there you
Beer
go.
koozie.
All right, we have two more. All right, Ian, what is a whippersnipper?
What? Ian?
Not Ian, sorry. Neal. What is a whippersnipper?
A whippersnipper is a string trimmer, I think.
Used in
Like
circumcision.
weed eating.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
Okay, and Emma, I saved the last one for you. You may know this one.
Oh, I hope not.
And I saved this one because I believe it might make Ian irate.
Oh, dear.
What is a ute?
Oh, that's the easiest thing in the world. So a ute is short for utility. It's basically the best way to describe a ute, and I need to get this right. It's a kind of a car-based pickup truck. My El Camino is a perfect example of a ute. It looks like a car in the front, but it's got like a pickup bed in the back.
It's like the automotive equivalent of a mullet.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
It's not like a
It's already out there.
You mean like the
it's not
Volkswagen
like
Rabbit
a
right above me right here?
truck. It's like car in the front, open truck in the back, right? Is that about
that's
right,
you.
Ian?
That's about right.
That
It's
is
you.
right.
Yep.
All right, and then
Yeah.
the final question, Wendy, this one is for you. Because I
Okay.
believe you wrote this. I'm going to test you. Besides referring to passenger vehicles as trucks, what else pisses Ian off, according to your glossary?
Putting Vegemite on fruit toast. Send him apoplectic.
Oh, Vegemite. 'Cause
Vegemite.
That's stuff that's nearly as good as Marmite.
Right.
And what is fruit toast?
So
I may ask.
What does Vegemite taste like?
It
was
tastes
a-
like a very poor substitute of Marmite. Is what
Oh,
it
thanks.
tastes
That
like.
tells me everything.
Right, Ian?
Exactly.
It's made from expired yeast, basically.
Well, it's
It is.
recycled
It's-
from beer brewing.
It's really super heavy umami, real salty. I
Yeah.
mean, almost like I use it kind of in place of like beef broth, like to bring vibrance to soups and
wow.
whatnot.
But on hot toast, on hot buttered toast, it's very, very tasty. But the classic mistake that all Americans make with both Vegemite and Marmite is they put far too much on. The best amount of that stuff to put on your toast in the morning is
Zero.
just out. If that could be, just you literally just wave the knife at it, and it's absolutely delicious. And I grew up eating that stuff. I don't know. I mean, you were a Vegemite fan, Ian?
No, I could never eat it. I'm afraid to say it was about the most un-Australian thing you can say is you don't like Vegemite.
Well, I know, but I mean, in England, it's actually, and this has happened since I've left England. I mean, the term "it's a Marmite bike" or a Marmite car has come along because it's anything controversial that people either love or hate is called a Marmite whatever, because it may be similar in Australia. People, that's a Vegemite thing. You either love it or you hate it.
No, we don't go down that road, but yeah, it's something I've never ever taken to.
Yeah.
and I like it fine, but I also, in a like with a lot of things, you have chocolate covered bacon, and you have
That's
this
awesome.
salty
Don't be
sweet
dissing that.
together. And it wasn't a deliberate choice. It was one of those places where we found ourselves stranded that happened to have provided raisin toast, and there's Vegemite. I'm like, great, two good things. Let's put them together. Oh my gosh. I've never seen Ian so mad as he was in that moment. It was
Travesty.
offense to all of a travesty, exactly. Have offended all of Australia inadvertently. So now what I do, he sent me a container of Vegemite for my birthday. And so I'll take something completely inappropriate. Like I sent him a picture the other day of like a pretzel with Vegemite with craisins on it.
Oh no!
Gosh.
I'm a nice friend.
Well, we're getting close to an hour, so I need to wrap this up. So I have a final question, and then we're going to let you plug where people can get this book. But my final question is: now that you've written the book, when they make the movie, who would you want to play yourselves?
Ooh. Oh. Well, we should guess who they should be.
There you go. I want to hear your guys'
I know who would be. What's her name? Played The Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise.
Oh yeah, I know you mean.
No.
Emily Blunt.
John Krasinski's wife. Yeah.
Ooh, Emily Blunt.
Yeah, that's you, Wendy. You're Emily Blunt.
I was going to kind of go with Sandra Bullock.
Oh, I like that.
That's pretty good too.
I like that. And
Arnold Schwarzenegger, I think should play.
No, Russell Crowe. You got to do Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe, I could kind of see him, or Eric Bana, because I think Eric might be wrong here. But I actually think Eric Bana has motorbikes.
Or Jason Momoa.
Don't quote me.
Got that going on.
Don't quote me.
Or Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean. I was going to say I should play Ian and Ian should play me.
The answer is
breakdown.
Just no.
Nobody wants to. No one would volunteer to recreate that. You guys are going to have to play yourselves.
Right.
Do you mind doing it again so we can film it? You guys, thank you so much for coming on. And Ian, you're coming to us from the future.
I am.
It's tomorrow.
Yeah, how's tomorrow over there? It's pretty good.
It's Monday.
How's tomorrow?
It's already Monday here. We're that far in front of you. I tell you what, you're going to be pleasantly surprised when you get there.
Awesome.
Monday's a good day in Australia. I mean, hang on a sec. What time in the morning is it?
It's 12:30 lunchtime.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you are ahead.
Yeah.
Blimey.
Yeah.
Okay. So
when you get here, I'll hold your hand.
Yeah. Thank you, dear. Before you plug your book, do you have any big rides coming up, or are you hanging up your spurs for a little while?
Wendy does next month.
Yeah, we're going to Peru next month.
Right. Well, and with the Liza, Ian, do you have anything coming up?
Well, not big, but I'm actually this afternoon. I'm hopping on the bike on the FJR.
Right.
Look how pleased she is so pleased when he says that.
I'm so proud.
The Australian round of the Superbike series is in Phillip Island in Victoria this weekend. So,
how nice!
It's not that far. It's about 1,000 miles from my place. So I'm going to hop on the bike tonight and just go down there.
Fantastic, because of course it's high summer for you, isn't it?
It's the end of summer, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
Middle of February, so it's sort of starting to taper off just a touch, and autumn is coming rapidly.
Phillip Island looks amazing too.
Oh, mate, it's a great place. If you've never, I'll tell you what, I will give a plug to is Phillip Island. If you love nature and you love coupling it with high-speed motorcycles, come to Phillip Island, man.
Well,
they got a lot of stuff down there, a lot of penguin colonies. You've got the Great Ocean Road off to the west side of Melbourne. You've got the Grampians. You've got all of the Gippsland area to the left, to the east. And it's all within an easy day's ride, like 400 Ks.
Fantastic.
Cheap to come down here for you guys, given the exchange rate. So strap on your goggles, pin back the ears, and come on down.
There you go.
One of my partners is a guy called Cat Leod, who runs Leod Escapes. And I think he does a Phillip Island trip. I'm pretty sure he does.
I just looked it up. Is Phillip Island really an island?
Yes, it needs a bridge to connect it.
Yeah, I think it's like Key West is an island.
Yeah, bridge connected.
But you can drive. You just keep driving. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
You can take, I do believe, or there used to be. I mean, it's been 15 years since I've been down there. There's a long story to why I haven't been back, but I'm going back this year. And I do believe there used to be a ferry service go to the island as well. But it's much more fun to ride. So
sure.
Fun. Well, I wanted to thank both of you for coming on and sharing the story, but also I just wanted to congratulate you on what an achievement. I mean, this is it's building materials at this point. It's like a cinder block. This is a heck of a book. And I think, Wendy, you had said that you had talked about splitting into 2 books, but the editor was like, no, this all has to be in one. It's just So congratulations on that. It's a huge achievement.
Thanks.
Where can people buy these books? And what if they want it signed like I do?
So it's you can go to pushingmiles.com and there's a full list of everywhere you can buy it. Basically, it's on Amazon. You can get it ebooks. You can get it Barnes and Noble, Kindle, Nook, Google Play, Apple Books, just about everywhere. So if you go to pushingmiles.com and click on your get a copy, it'll take you to a full list of where you can find that.
Great.
We're working on the signed copies. We have been surprised by the enthusiasm of the uptake and the number of people that are requesting signed copies. So we are actively working on how to get a bunch of signed copies by Ian over to me so I can sign them without it costing an arm and a leg. So,
well, I'll throw this offer out. If either of you want to come to Santa Cruz, we could do a book signing out of our garage. We did it for Elsbeth.
Right.
Which was, people were kind of shocked when they showed up, and it was Elsbeth in a Costco carport tent signing books.
And that was a very well attended event. But,
yes.
I mean, this is it's an intimate little podcast, so there's only a couple of listeners who listen to this, but nevertheless, plug your book, buy this thing. It's great. It's a wonderful read. I'm not going to lie, I haven't read the whole thing. It is a tome, to say the least, but you pick it up and you dive into any chapter. It's funny, it's poignant, it's a human story.
I would like to see it followed up with a coloring book. I would be very interested in the coloring book version. I think it would be a lot of fun.
Or the scratch and sniff ones would be good too.
Right. Okay. So before we let you go, I have one final question. One final question. Has all the fame brought you fortune?
Oh yeah.
No.
It will.
We ummed and ahed about writing the book because we weren't even sure we were going to make enough to pay back for the editing costs.
Well,
we're both quite happy now that we're probably going to at least make enough back to make back the cost of editing the book.
Right.
I hope we make enough
at least break even
to pay for a transmission on the RT.
Oh, no, that ain't happening. We're never going to get anywhere near that.
All right.
We'll just call that a good holiday and write that money off.
Wow. Well, thank you very much for filling us in. And yeah, go to pushingmiles.com, get a copy of this book. This is the latest, greatest book to share. And there's a lot of stories in there, but I think perseverance is probably the common
absolutely.
theme.
And I think in a sea of books about long-distance motorcycle traveling, my prediction, I think this one's going to do quite well. I think you're going to do very, very well. There's a humor that pervades the pages of the book, that it's written in a very, very light, easy style. Yeah, I'm going to take it home with me. It's going to be my bedtime reading for the next few weeks.
And apparently there's cussing.
Well, we all enjoy cussing.
Well, good. Well, we're going to let you.
Well, it's appropriate and it's focused. It's not just loose, random, off the shelf, off the top of your head shit that doesn't mean anything too. So it's quite appropriate where we've used it.
Right. Well, thank you very much for coming on. We're going to let you guys go because we are going to talk about spark plugs.
Sparkling plugs.
Sparkling plugs.
Yeah.
I know. So Wendy's like, what? Now I got to listen just to hear what you have to say?
No, I mean, you're both welcome to hang out. I mean, I'm going to drone on for about 20 minutes about bloody sparkling plugs.
You have 15 minutes.
And it's a great cure for insomnia.
You guys are welcome to stay if you would like.
I'm going to go pull out my NGK book and console myself by flipping through its pages.
Oh, all right. Well,
I'm going to go and polish my spark plug caps before I go to Phillip Island.
Oh, I should if I were you. Wendy, Ian, it's always such a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
Stay in touch. Let's have you back on in a few weeks. Let's see how the book sales are going.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right.
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
Thank you, guys. See
Bye, all.
Bye-bye.
John, before you got a quick update of our list of events.
Real quickly, we'll do it quick because I want to learn about spark plugs. April 18th to 21st, our Misfits Hollister Rally. Go to Breaking Away Adventures.
Jim, I'm looking at you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I should register. What's the website for that?
Yeah, go to breakingawaytrips.com and register there.
And Liza's going to Peru. You still looking for people to go?
They may have had one spot open, but I don't know if they're still... Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, Stumpistan. Remember, there is a special going on right now for the first 5 people.
For first 5 people?
Wow, I'm getting mocked.
No, you're not.
Keep going.
First 5 people to sign up gets a $500 discount. You can go to adriftagenda.com for that, or email us at motorcyclesandmisfits@gmail.com. Dolomites trip, June 23rd through 29th, and Castles and Curves, July 14th through 20th. Go to leoudescapes.com for that. Bagel's still working on perhaps a scooter event in July this year. AMA Vintage Days, July 26th to 28th. And do you want to say anything about Chickastan?
Not yet.
Okay, cool. Chickastan, September 15th to 28th.
But nevertheless, it is a heaving agenda. And you can hang out with your favorite misfits, and a jolly good time will be had by all, I guarantee.
There you go. So I wanted to get real quickly. I asked Emma to do a history hole on spark plugs.
Well,
and I wanted to say why.
Why?
Tell me why.
Because I mentioned that I've been watching these Matt Armstrong videos, and there was a video where he swapped out the spark plugs with NGK spark plugs. And I know you're very much into like good quality stuff, which I assume NGK is good quality. And the car wasn't running right. And then he's like, it turns out this car runs better on Iridium. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, there are choices. There are choices in spark plugs.
Oh, you've always got
choices. But
choices.
we don't really ever delve into that, like different types of spark plugs, good spark plug choice. And also the fact that how many miles is a spark plug good for?
Ooh, that depends,
and this is something like the brake fluid that degrades slowly. So a lot of people forget about that. And I thought, it's probably good to bring it up because how often should we be replacing them? So I asked Emma, tell us all about spark plugs. I think it's another one of those items on the bike that's just often overlooked and neglected.
Well, no. I mean, that's like... Oh, John. You're like a bull in a china shop, aren't you? Really?
Hold on. You've turned it off, John. So now you have to turn it on.
No.
Because
he knocked Bagel right out of the screen.
I know. Oh, jeez.
That was a big crash. Well, no, and I mean, it's... a couple of people have mentioned to me that the history holes were a popular part of the show, and we haven't done one for a while. And so you said to me, Emma, can we do a history hole? And I was happy to do it. So, history hole on sparkling plugs. How about that?
Yeah. I want to learn about sparkling.
Well, when we look back at history, you will often find that great strides are made completely independently of one another in a very similar time period. I mean, I'm going to use the example of the first flight. We all know that the first flight was made in 1903 by the Wright brothers. What people don't realize, it was a race against time because the French, Louis Blériot, had a very, very good prototype, which was absolutely on the brink of flying. And the Cant brothers in Italy had the same. And it really was a race against time. And Wilbur and Orville knew this. And they knew they had to get their plane up in the air because there can only be one first. And so they were the first, they're immortalized, and so on and so forth. And so it is with engines. I mean, we discussed a couple of weeks ago, probably about a month ago now, that the origins of the engines we know and love really go back to the Otto cycle engine, which is, well, I made my notes here. Otto cycle engine is really 1865, and it was Nicholas Otto, who was German, as all the best engineers are. However, the Otto cycle engine used a rudimentary spark plug, but that was not its origin, nor was it the origin of the engine. The Otto cycle engine was actually an improvement of an engine made by a Belgian called Etienne Lenoir in 1860. And he had a very rudimentary design for a spark plug. Well, what is a spark plug? If you boil everything down to our most basic terms, the engines in our bikes, in cars, in boats, in aircraft are internal combustion engines. There is combustion, and it happens internally.
And some are infernal.
Well, there is the infernal combustion engine, which is the one that never starts, or worse still, the external combustion engine, like my Trident, which can set your genitalia on fire. So both of those are generally not considered ideal to have. So an internal combustion engine. So let's get down to basics. What is it? How does an internal combustion engine work? Well, it takes a very, very flammable mixture, which is fuel, gasoline vapor. And the magic formula is, give or take, 16 parts air to 1 part gasoline. And you mix that up. Very flammable vapor. And then you compress it, which makes it even more flammable. And then ignite it at a very specific time. And this is the basis of how all engines work. Or how all internal combustion engines work.
That's the timing part of timing.
The timing part of timing. Now, you could argue that the birth of the spark plug was by Etienne Lenoir in 1860. But actually, it was a very, very different kind of spark plug to the one we know. And just as we've regarded the genesis of our engines as the Otto cycle engine, I am going to argue that the genesis of spark plug technology as we know it, yes, Liza.
I have a question. Which came first, gasoline or the spark plug?
Well, the two are inextricably linked, darling. But they weren't spark plugs as we know them. Because if you're igniting air-fuel mixture, you need a means of igniting it. So I am going to argue, and I will fight people for this, that the real birth of the spark plug as we know it was by none other than the inventor of the world's squeakiest windshield wiper, Robert Bosch himself. So anybody who's put Bosch windshield wipers on their car know that.
He also invented my belt sander. Yes,
Robert Bosch. He had a hand in a lot of things. So 1902, and I think I would argue that the spark plug as we know it kind of came around via Robert Bosch, because it was right around that time that people were looking for smarter ways of igniting the air fuel.
How did they do it before a spark plug?
Oh, by various means. I mean, there was a probe that would go into a rudimentary combustion chamber. There was
more of a glow plug, you're saying?
Yeah, almost. And there was no kind of timing to it.
There was a hot tube.
Yeah, total loss systems. It was just nothing, very inefficient. But
nothing was an electrical spark.
No. What the crucial difference was what's called the magneto. And what the magneto did was provided a very, very high voltage current at a very precise time that you could then couple to a little mechanism that went inside the combustion chamber, fired at a very specific time, and then ignited your air fuel. And so things got more efficient. Yes, Liza?
I like to call it tiny lightning.
There you are, tiny lightning. I'll take that. So what is a magneto? Magneto is a very, very interesting device. It's a mechanical device. It's almost like an electric motor in reverse. So you have a rotating set of coils. You have a magnet, which in itself isn't capable of producing very, very high voltage, but you have a high and a low coil. So the easiest way, if we kind of break it down to very, very easy terms, there is a low side coil that produces sufficient electricity to power a high side coil, which produces enough electricity to cause a spark in a spark plug. And there's little points that open and close. And the points are the key, because when the points open, all this energy that is stored in the high side coil is immediately released because it's got nowhere to go. So it has to go into the spark plug and you get a nice crack. Magnetos are amazingly efficient. And back in the day when I used to build high power race engines, I'd put magnetos on everything because they're very accurate, they're very powerful. More importantly, they're very compact and they generate power themselves. You don't need any electrics on a bike at all if it's got a magneto on it, because the magneto produces everything you need.
They're also very reliable, which is why
they can be. They can also be very unreliable depending on who made them.
I remember my dad put a pointsel system in his 750 Triumph Bonneville.
Yeah,
he had to kick it once, and then the second kick it would start. Had to get some juice into it.
Yeah. You kind of generate the power, right. And then what you're doing is you're energizing the high side coil, and then the second kick, pow! Now it's moving off. The Triumph systems, they were great, and what you'd have to do is you'd pull off the timing cover and then replace it with its own timing cover with this giant like Hunt magneto. But that was the birth of the spark plug. Now, some notable spark plug companies.
Oh yeah. These are brands you approve of.
Well, they're all part of the history of spark plugs.
Okay.
America. Champion. Yeah. We all know about Champion plugs.
Great logo.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. And I mean, what an iconic brand. Britain had the Lodge brothers. Lodge plugs came in a lot of British vehicles, particularly immediately post-war. And KLG. Now, KLG were the first to use mica as an insulator. You had no idea mica was around back then, did you? You thought she was only about 20. But
that's what the crackheads use to break into your car window.
Absolutely. Yes. Because mica is a form of porcelain, but it's very, very dense. Now, why do you need porcelain in a spark plug? Well, we're going to come to that in a bit.
So other manufacturers would be NGK?
Oh, yeah. Well, we're coming to NGK. Okay. We're coming to NGK. Other notables. In the 1930s, the first ceramic insulator came from America. A physicist called Helen Bartlett. And so she came up with and let's talk a little bit about insulators and how they work. So your engine itself, the whole engine block, the frame, everything is the ground or the earth on the bike. And then you have a means of producing current. Now, you want to make sure that this very, very high voltage needs to be kept away from the main body of the bike or any part of the engine except for the electrode, which is where you want your spark. So you do that by using a very, very dense insulator. And porcelain is the greatest insulator. Why porcelain? Well, it's very, very dense. It conducts no electricity at all. And it's a great heat. It doesn't conduct heat. So it's not affected by heat or cold in the engine. The problem is it is quite brittle. So you always work with the composition of porcelain to make it as tough as possible. Yes, Liza.
The design that's commonly used today, about how long has this been around? Because it hasn't changed much.
No, it's since the beginning. Yeah. But and I'll give you a timeline of the different materials used in a little while. But the basic design is screws into the cylinder head where it needs to be. It has an insulator. It has an electrode. Well, it has two electrodes. It has an electrode that's part of the main body, which becomes part of the engine. And then it's got the central electrode, which conducts the current down to the tip. And you get that nice fight. Pow! blue spark. There was a very interesting sideline in the 1940s, which I want to talk about, is radioactive plugs. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Did they glow in the dark?
They did indeed glow in the dark.
Oh, no.
But, and it was an American company that came up with them, but they were actually considered a failure, nothing to do with the fact that, they had radioactive material in them. They were actually very efficient, but the half-life of the material they used was only like a month. So after, these were spark plugs you'd have to change every month to keep them at the most efficient.
Yeah, that's an improvement.
Yeah, but it all boils down, and we're going to go through some of the different materials and what doing different things to your plugs actually does. But it all boils down to the same thing. You want the fattest spark possible, because a nice, fat, strong spark ignites that mixture. And the more efficiently you can ignite that mixture, and the quicker you can ignite that mixture and get a fuller combustion, the more power your engine's going to have. Yes, dear.
We used to talk a lot about gaps and gapping it. How does that affect the spark?
So the bigger the gap, the stronger the spark. But the downside of that is you need to have an ignition system to support that spark. Now, Japanese motorcycles, as an example, tend to be very, very efficient. They don't need a particularly large gap. Most bikes will absolutely sing with a 20 to 25 thousandths gap. Go back to when my Thunderbird rolled off the line in 1961. That is an incredibly inefficient engine, as all car engines were back then. Would you like to know what the plug gap is on a Thunderbird?
Can I guess?
Yes.
23.
71,000.
Oh
Wow.
Wow.
Because it's such an inefficient engine and it requires so much ignition, you need a giant, strong spark.
So the electrode is basically like a coat hanger.
Almost. But it's got an extremely heavy duty. I mean, it's got a giant coil in it. The points in it are like, the clasped hand of a giant. It's got the ignition system to support it because it's basically a very inefficient engine. So the bigger the gap, the stronger the spark. Now, an old race car builder's trick is to cut the electrode. And what you do when you cut the electrode is you cut it back and you can get the gap even bigger. And I've seen them cut back almost to the thread on the plug, and that will give you a really giant spark. But it gets to the stage where coil ignition, whether it's stick coil or centralized coil with plug wires, can't actually support that kind of spark, and you have to go back to a magneto. If you look at most drag racing cars these days, they're all running magnetos because they're capable of producing these incredibly high voltages. But I digress. So let's have a little timeline of the different materials used within spark plugs. And basically, keep in mind, all of these things is just to try and get the spark as hot and efficient as possible. Now, the earliest spark plugs basically had a copper core. And copper's still very, very widely used. Copper's a great insulator. You can send current through it very, very quickly. It's cheap as chips. It's very efficient to make. So copper is still used now. 1930s, nickel started being used very, very extensively. 1970s, they changed the design to a V-power. Now, a V-power plug, this is the genesis of the smaller electrode. When you look at a spark plug, if you look at just an average, cheap as chips, $3 spark plug, the tip is about 3 mil diameter. When you pick up like a V-power plug, whether it's iridium or whatever, it's got this tiny, tiny, almost like half a mil, quarter of a millimeter tip, which gives this incredibly strong spark. It's the equivalent of having a big spark plug gap. It gives that strong spark, but you don't need these incredible voltages to run it. Laser platinum plugs. That was the hallmark of the 1980s.
Oh.
Yes.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, platinum plugs. They were the big thing. And they gave way to iridium plugs in the 90s. It's hard to believe that iridium technology is already about 30 years old.
I just remember in the 80s, the spark plug caps that had a clear window so that you could see the spark.
Right. And that actually, they were a very, very handy tool for troubleshooting misfires back in the day. You can still get them, but you have to search around for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the thing to have back in the day.
Yeah, right.
This, like
they had
clear
different
red
colors
spark,
on it.
yeah, exactly.
So iridium is a metal. I'm sorry.
Yeah, iridium is a metal and is very, very good conductor.
Yeah, and I think I might have put platinum plugs in my Trans Am back in the day.
Right, because oftentimes if you have an engine that is susceptible to plug fouling because of poor mixture, and it's very, very easy for us as motorcyclists, we can adjust the mixture on our carbs very, very easily. If you're running a Trans Am, which if I remember right, had a Rochester Quadrajet,
Yes,
Quadrajet's it's basically a bucket with a hole in it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And mine had a bad ignition module too, so it really didn't like to start.
Right. So the easiest way is just put a very, very high efficiency spark plug in it, and it will mask a lot of problems. Same as if your engine's got an oil control problem and is susceptible to burning oil. If you can put a really efficient spark plug in it, you can kick that can down the road for a while.
So we're getting low on time, so I wanted to make sure we cover some things in here, like how often do you recommend changing? And, is this something that you can get a performance upgrade just by simply changing spark plugs?
Well,
what are your recommendations to people in general?
Well, yes and no. If your engine is running efficiently, putting new spark plugs in it isn't going to make it run more efficiently.
Okay.
If you're trying to nurse an old car through a smog check, a new set of spark plugs will certainly help. You might not feel the difference.
But doesn't it degrade over time?
Yes, they do degrade.
So...
Well, I remember when I took my FC1 down to you at about 50,000 miles.
Right.
And I had never done plugs or anything like that. And I think if I remember, you took out the spark plugs, and it looked like they had little mohawks.
Right.
Like the plugs were no longer round. They were like flat on either side.
Because it's worth remembering.
But the bike was totally misfiring and running like shit.
And then we put new plugs in and off it goes. It's worth remembering that when you are sending tens of thousands of volts through two electrodes, they are going to suffer from degradation just from the power of the electricity running through them. It's almost like eating at the metal. How often should you change plugs?
40,000, 60,000, 80,000?
No.
100,000?
No.
How long are they good for?
Unfortunately, that's kind of a how long's a piece of string question, because it tends to differ from engine to engine. If you have a high efficiency engine, 20 or 30,000 miles should be appropriate for a set of plugs. Jim got 50,000 miles out of his FC1 because it's a very, very efficient engine. Neal sitting next to him, you've got
about 31,000 on my V-Strom.
Yeah, and the V-Strom is a far less efficient engine than the FC1, so it's going to eat up plugs a lot quicker. That interestingly enough, that Suzuki V-twin engine started off in twin plug configuration. Those fuckers 8 plugs every 10,000 miles. So they went to a 4-plug configuration, which kind of helped matters a lot.
So, and do you recommend to people, do you need to look up what it says in the manual, like NGK, or do you recommend upgrading to an Iridium?
No, oftentimes you'll find bikes now will actually specify an Iridium plug. And generally, if you ever see X in the designation of a plug, it means it's an Iridium plug. That's not the top of the heap now. We have Ruthenium plugs made by Ruth. And she's very sophisticated. But I'm a huge advocate. Stick with a manufacturer's recommendation of a plug. And sometimes there's a little bit of black arts here. Japanese bikes tend to run very, very well on Japanese plugs. British bikes run very, very well on British plugs. You know, it's almost like the engineers had this vision back in the day. If you've got a sick engine, sick because it's high mileage, sick because it's maybe a little overcarburetted, you can try an iridium plug, and that may kick the can down the road. If you've got like an oil consumption problem and it's fouling plugs and you take the plugs out and they're kind of black and hairy and they look like a tarantula's leg, it may be worth putting an iridium plug. But you don't want to change the heat range. The heat range of a plug is absolutely critical, and you should never really deviate from the heat range. That's the number in a plug's range. And generally, the higher the number, the colder the plug. So in NGK terms, a B4 is a very, very hot plug. And you'd use that in a very inefficient application. Most Japanese bikes are in the sort of B7, B8 range. A race bike, which is a very, very high efficiency engine, would go as high as a 9 or a 10. So that's basically it. As always, I've just touched the surface. If your bike's running like crap, put a set of plugs in it.
Well, now you got me thinking, since I'm babying my SMT, I'm like, I think I'm just going to buy some spark plugs. Because isn't it one of those things?
We overlook it a lot.
Well, you do, because
air filter's one thing, but spark plugs.
I'm like, I think I'm gonna.
It's kind of like valves.
Yeah, I gotta go back and reassess. Look at the mileage on the bikes. I'm like, I think
it's kind of like your body. It deteriorates very, very slowly, and you'll say, "Oh, I don't notice this is happening." Like your FC1, and then suddenly you bring it in for service, and it gets a little bit of Emma Love and an air filter and valve clearance is doing and spark plugs, and you ride it away like, bloody hell, this thing rides like new again.
Oh, blimey!
Yes, So there you are. But sparkling plugs.
Thank you.
They've been around for a while, and they're very nice too.
Thank you very much, Emma, for that. I have, real quickly, 2 very short emails. First one, Crockett Josh, who was here with us last week.
Yay, Crockett Josh.
He just said, thanks for having me on the podcast.
Sorry I missed him.
He loves listening to us and the Cleveland Moto
He's
guys.
quite the poet also.
And
although he doesn't know it.
And he just really enjoyed coming and hang out with us.
We enjoyed having him. He's a good egg.
The other one was Gilles, who was here last week. And he says... Quebec. Emma, thanks for saving my life. I got the tire changed. I think I avoided a deadly accident. Please tell Emma I owe her my life and consider the donuts repayment in full.
Oh, that's so sweet. That is so sweet. No, Gilles was also a good egg.
And donuts are a valid commodity.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, donuts are a good currency.
Chickens are good, too, if everyone's curious.
So, thanks. This is where we get to the end. Thanks, everyone. I highly recommend getting Ian and Wendy's book. I mean, it is quite a tale.
I'm waiting for the coloring book.
I'm waiting for the scratch and sniff.
No,
I'm waiting for the stick-on tattoo. Yes, exactly.
But it's funny you should mention books. I was a little late arriving at the garage today, wasn't I, Liza? Because I was over at Gilroy Motorcycle Centre hanging out with our dear friend Greg. And when I walked in, I was setting up a wholesale account for parts. And Greg was busy with some people he was selling a bike to. He's the owner of the shop. And so I sat down in the lounge area, in the lounge, and helped myself to a cup of coffee. And there, sitting on the lounge table, was Mimi and Moto Ride the Alphabet.
Oh, yes! Nice. So go to motorcyclesandmisfits.com. You'll find links to everything, including our t-shirt that is for sale. This is pre-orders, but big news. They are on order, so they are on the way.
What color did you go with?
I went with the Heather Army Green.
Ooh, nice.
Right.
Yeah.
And just to make it clear, there is nobody famous on that shirt. Nobody famous on the shirt.
And this is a limited run, so our Patreon subscribers are the first ones to get it. If you'd like to get one for free. Just be a Patreon subscriber at $5 or more, and you'll find our link to the Patreon on our website. And for anyone else, you can also go pre-order. It's $25 free shipping in the U.S. right now.
And you've got a deal going with worldwide shipping. I mean, you told me
$20 anywhere in the world,
which is the deal of the century.
Yeah. $20 anywhere in the world. So go to motorcyclesandmisfits.com and you'll find the links to everything there.
I guarantee if you wear one of these shirts, you're getting laid tonight. It says that much about your wardrobe and your taste.
You slayed me, Emma. All right. So thank you, everybody, for listening and sticking with us. I appreciate it. It's time to get out of here. Thanks. This is Liza.
Stumpy John.
Give it the beans, darling.
What the cat dragged in, also known as Neal.
Thank you, Jim, son.
Bagel.
And we are out of here.
Cool.